Welcome back to another episode on the Gem Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Grace Moreno, aka Coach Chi. I'm grateful to have you here, whether it's your first time tuning in or you're my day one ride or die people. Okay. Today, we'll be diving into a common problem most people deal with right before they call it quits, before they give up. And that is this feeling of, I'm doing everything and nothing is working. And if you've been eating healthy, working out, and doing all the things, but the scale still won't budge or the clothes still fit too tight in all the wrong places, that all your lumps and bumps are just in full display, or that you still feel like not confident enough to be in pictures or wear that one outfit or that dress or those jeans that you've been saving for when you finally get fit or get right, then this episode is for you. Also, if you've been wondering, I'm eating healthy, I'm working out, so why isn't the scale moving? What am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm trying so freaking hard, but I'm still not there. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why does it work for everyone else but me? If that is something that you've been wondering, then I definitely need you to tune in and maybe even come back and re listen to this because most likely you're going to pick up a few new gems each time. Now, before we get into it, I want you to know that I get it. I've lived through it for years, more than I like to admit. And also, I help my clients get through this in my one on one coaching. And as much as I wish this is a conversation I'm having one on one with you so that I don't make any assumptions about you or your life or give you any general advice that may or may not even help you out, I understand that in a podcast setting, though, it's a one-way communication. That said, if you believe that you'd benefit from a connection call, I need you to reach out to me. You can go to the show notes or the descriptions for the links to connect with me on Instagram, or you can book a call straight through the application. Okay, now let's get into it. When you say you're doing everything and nothing is working, aka the scale hasn't budged, the clothes don't fit right, and your confidence is taking a hit, I want you to understand some basic principles, okay? And just know that I'm not going to sit here and bore you with a long lecture because chances are you already know this or you have heard of it before, and all of it is a free information on the internet. So I'm not interested in filling you up with more information. I'm more interested in helping you cut through the noise so you can get to your next breakthrough or the aha moment or another light bulb moment that can actually help you start taking action towards creating the results that you want. Okay. So, first things first, let's talk about the basics of energy balance, which is just calories in, calories out. Okay. For fat loss or for weight loss, you need to eat less than your body burns. That's it. That's the whole thing. Like, there doesn't need to be this whole elaborate whatever. Like, it just, if you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat, you just got to eat less than what your body is burning. Okay. But here's where people mess it up. They think they're eating less, but they're not actually even tracking it. They're guessing the entire time, and your guesses are probably off by a lot. Okay. Like, if you've never tracked or you're unsure or you've been guesstimating, my advice for you is to actually start tracking your food. It's just for a time being, it's just temporary, not forever, but it just use that as a way to get to know truly like how much you're actually eating. Okay? Just do it as an experiment. Okay? Also, just want to highlight this. Eating healthy doesn't mean you're in a deficit. You can still gain weight eating chicken and veggies if you eat it enough of it. All right. So I know that I'm not getting straight into like the minutia of it all. Frankly, I don't need to bore you with it. You know what caloric deficit means. You've already heard it so many times. You've tried to go about it so many times. And so at this point, all we're really looking to do is like, all right, how do you know you're actually eating enough for your goals? How do you know that you're in a deficit? Like, have you been tracking your food? Do you even know how much you should be eating? And if you don't, then you start there. And before you even go into like, oh, like if you're gonna sit here and tell me that you have resistance against tracking, my question for you is why? Where is that coming from? Why are you not interested in tracking? Even if you don't have to do it forever. Why is there a resistance in tracking? I don't know the answer. Only you can answer that for you. But that is my invitation, is that leverage these tools so that you are better equipped with the knowledge and you get to learn actually like what your habits are, like how much you're actually eating. Um, Pro tip, try to track even like on the weekends, on those one-off situations. Like a lot of people tend to only want to track when things are going well and it's perfect. Mm. I want you to also track like what your nutrition looks like over the weekend, or when you have parties, when you have events, when you're traveling, like track it. Just get curious. Remember, approach it from curiosity, not criticism. All right? On to the next. Progressive overload when it comes to your workouts. All it really means is, are you consistently and strategically challenging yourself or pushing yourself in the gym? Okay. Are you actually getting stronger, or are you just showing up and getting a workout in? Are you just there to check a box? Like if you've been doing the same weights, the same reps, the same exercise every single time, your body has like zero reason to change. You're just maintaining. Also, though, there's this thing I want you to be very cognizant of, is that randomized training, like just doing whatever flavor of the month or flavor of the week it is, just doing whatever workouts you're in the mood for, just random workouts, also is not going to help you. And that's also not progressive overload. Okay. There's a time and place for all of that to add some novelty, but you have to have like a structured training program that is actually rooted in helping you achieve your goals. Okay. All right. Another thing I want you to note too with progressive overload is that, like, oh, when you heard me say, oh yeah, are you challenging and pushing yourself hard enough in the gym? One thing that I think is a common trap for people is that thinking that soreness is a sign that you had a good workout. Absolutely not. Sore just means that you did something different or new. It doesn't mean that you're actually going to be making progress when it comes to your workouts. If you've just been vibing in the gym with like no real plan and you're just kind of following some random like workout without really knowing why you're doing it, and it's like that in and of itself is a problem, especially if you're not an advanced lifter yet. The thing about it is, maybe the influencers you see on the internet, it's like they're doing a bunch of random things, they're doing a bunch of like, like exploring and doing all kinds of stuff. It's like they kind of earned a right to be able to do that because they've done the basics fundamental. But I bet you, if you pull them aside, you ask them what they do on a day-to-day basis, what their plan looks like, it consists of the fundamentals and the basic exercises. So, as much as I love, like, signing up for random classes and doing this and the third, like, there is, when it comes to movement, when it comes to exercising, random can only get you so far. Um, and it's not to say that you can never get there. I think there's going to be a time and place for it as you start to build um, more and more skills and you get more advanced. You get to have a little bit more freedom to just like F around, But at the end of the day, progressive overload, truly challenging yourself and not using soreness as a base of measurement for like how hard you're working. Okay. Also, just wanted to add, one of the key things about progressive overload is to make sure that you protect yourself from injury or overtraining. Because what the issue is with overtraining is that, like, when you go into a workout plan and you push yourself and you go hard, it can really put you out of commission. Like, you can be so sore for so many days that you actually end up skipping the gym. So, how is that actually helping us? If the point is to move more, but your plan is tearing you apart, leaving you practically crippled and crawling out of the gym, how do you expect to maintain any semblance of consistency with that? If you're in so much pain and you're so sore because your program is not it what didn't meet you where you're at, because your program is way too much, way too fast, way too soon, and it's just redonkulous, and it leaves you feeling tore up from the floor up, how do you expect to show up the next day? How do you expect to show up for the week? How do you expect to show up week after week, month after month, if you're getting pummeled every single time? And not to mention, overtraining tends to leave people less active throughout the day. You know, when you just get a really, really tough workout and then you spend the rest of your day sitting on your butt because you can't even move no more. And I know some of y'all are crazy. Like, you love the soreness. Yes, soreness is part of it. Yes, it's nice. We love that. But it's all about moderation, right? You can feel slightly sore and feel like, ooh, yes, it's good. But you don't want to be crawling and crawling every time and hurting all the time. There is this saying that among coaches and trainers, it's like you don't get better at training, you get better at recovering from the training. Because the faster and the better and more efficient you recover from your training and the stimulus of a workout or progressive overload, the more you can push and the more you can improve your performance. You can do more. The next principle I want to talk about is the hierarchy of fat loss. A lot of times the approach is eat less, move more. And sure, that makes sense. But there's actually more to it than just that. Actually, when it comes to fat loss, for example, nutrition is at the top, the one you need to prioritize the most. Okay. Then it's sleep. Then it's stress management. Then it's daily movement or NEPA or your steps. And then it's your training. Okay. All of it, they all matter. They're all connected. You can't out train a trash sleep schedule or chronic stress or being sedentary all day except for the 1 hour you did your workout. Like, see, the thing is, I see a lot of women eating 1,200 calories or less, doing hit workouts 5 days a week, sleeping 5 hours a night, stressing about works and kid and all of this, and then sitting at the desk all day or sitting in the car commuting, and then like wondering why they can't lose weight. Girl, your body is screaming for help, and you're just beating yourself up even more in the gym and with all the restriction on your eating. And here's the trap, okay? You think that you just need to eat less and work out more, but you're actually ignoring that you're exhausted, stressed the hell out, and barely even sleeping. I need you to fix those first, okay? Those. If you just heard all this like stuff, like the basic principles, like, obviously the energy balance, progressive overload, the hierarchy of fat loss, and you're thinking like, okay, cool, I'll fix those things. But you already knew some of this and you still haven't done it. And that's what we need to talk about, because the real problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The real problem is you haven't been honest with yourself about what's actually going on. And look, I'm not here to call you out or make you feel like shit. We've already established that from the beginning. Like, that's not what I'm here for, okay? But I am here to help you see the blind spots, the stuff that you literally keep tiptoeing around or making excuses for. So, I'm going to ask you some questions, and all I need you to do is to be brutally honest with yourself when you answer them. I don't need you to give me the version you tell everybody else or the version that makes you look good or preserves the persona or the mask that you wear. I want the real answer. Okay? The things that you are not willing to admit or afraid to admit. I'm just going to invite you, because I mean, you ain't even telling me this unless you feel called to tell me, then you can just slide in my DMs and let me know. But as I'm sharing these questions, I want you to really be brutally honest, because this is just between you and you anyways, actually, with me in your head, obviously asking these questions. So here's a few things that I want you to chew on. You say that I've tried everything and nothing is working. My thing is like, you tried absolutely everything, like everything. And how consistent have you been doing them? Like, how do you even know that what you're doing is the right thing for you and for your goals? And like, how long have you been at this? Because if you're expecting overnight success, that's an unrealistic expectation that's going to set you up for failure. You say nothing is working, that there's no progress at all. Is that really what's going on? Or do you just have a habit of downplaying your wins and accomplishments? Or never actually fully celebrating any of your wins or progress? Because it's not that there's no progress at all. It's just that it seems like no amount of progress you make is ever enough for you. So let me ask you this. What are you pretending not to know? I'm just going to pause here for a second. Okay. Because what I'm about to get into is some really uncomfortable truths to slap you across the face with. um, and so take a breather if you need to, pause and come back if you need to, depending on how you're going about this. Again, you can always come back to this and re-listen if you want to journal while you're listening to the prompts and the questions and whatnot, or if you want to listen all the way through and then set aside time later to reflect and journal and, put pen to paper. That's totally fine. But as I'm about to share some uncomfortable truths, I want you to understand that please keep in mind that I want you to come from a place of curiosity and not criticism, and have an open heart and open mind as we dive into this. Okay. Now, while we all love to feel special and unique, just know that we are not the exception to the rule when it comes to science, the fundamentals, and the principles and the basics. You think that your situation is so different, it's so special, and it's so much harder that the basic rules don't apply to you. Girl, but the science don't care about your story. The science don't care about all of that. So I need you to stop using this special case as a shield or an excuse to avoid doing the hard but boring ass basics. Like, I need you to stop looking for a reason for why the rules don't apply to you just so you feel good about not following them. And I need you to stop bullshitting yourself just so that you can have an out every time it gets hard. Because the thing about it is, the fundamentals work. The question for you is, have you actually stuck it out long enough to see the results you crave? Or have you been checking out and showing up every now and then because it's boring, monotonous work? So let me ask you again, have you really tried everything? Or have you tried a bunch of things halfway or half assed it for just a few weeks or so before deciding it doesn't work? Have you stuck with the boring basics for more than just a couple of weeks? Or have you been hopping around looking for the right plan, but not really committing? Are you actually doing the work? Or are you just going through the motions while secretly waiting for it to fail so you can just be like, see, told you it doesn't work. I'm broken. My body's broken. I'm hopeless. It's me. I'm the problem. I guess I'll just settle. Like I said, the fundamentals work. Okay. You are not the exception. Sorry. I just feel like you just haven't followed them long enough to see the results. And I get it. It's fucking boring. It's slow. It's not sexy at all, but it does work. So I guess what you're left with is to decide, are you going to keep doing what you're doing and approaching health and fitness the same way you've been approaching it to get the same outcome every single time? Or are you willing to commit to it, to the fundamentals, to the basic, and do it with so much integrity and long enough to actually see what your body can do for you and see the type of transformation you can get? I'll leave you with that. If you need help, though, cutting through the bullshit and figuring out what's actually holding you back and chart a course for yourself of how you can get from here to there and actually see the scale move, just reach out to me. The details and the links are going to be in the show note. I want to thank you for your time, for tuning in, and thank you for allowing me to slap you across the face with some uncomfortable truths. Like I said in the previous episodes, the best thing you can do for yourself is to actually carve out that time to then take everything that you've learned from today's episode and put it to practice. And at any point in time you get stuck, feel free to reach out to me. You can go on Instagram, you can book a call, whatever floats your boat, do it. Okay, that's your first step. I don't want you to allow this information, this insights that you have, or your takeaways to just kind of like disappear and whatever, and it just like becomes this next thing, like, oh, I consumed it and then done. Like, I need you to, if you're going to consume this podcast, please take the lessons and run with them. Okay, if you need clarity or if you want to chat about it, whatever, reach out to me. Okay, it's a simple thing that you can do for yourself. And guess what, you're worthy of every single attention and intention that you put into yourself in ways that you are caring for yourself and tending to your body, your mind, your soul, your everything. So again, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.